Hi, welcome to the last lecture for Geographical Imaginations this year. As you might have noticed from the handbook, this lecture was supposed to take place on Monday, which is a bank holiday. I didn't really think it was a good use of your time so close to the exams to rearrange a lecture for later next week, as I only want to say a few words about the course, what it is trying to achieve this year, and most importantly, how the things that you have learned can be taken forward to help you in years 2 and 3. So, what you're listening to is a short podcast of what would have been said at the last lecture. Hopefully, if listening on a computer, you'll be able to see pictures of the slides on the screen as we go along. It's only a few minutes long, and doing lectures this way is quite experimental, so hopefully it will be okay. Perhaps the best place to start is with this page out of the Daily Telegraph, which is a story about the Royal Geographical Society, a key institution based near the Royal Albert Hall in London, to which most geographers belong. The article talks about the Society's decision to change from funding a few large projects to funding more smaller ones. I've put the full article on Blackboard, but what struck me more than the story were the pictures that the editor had used to illustrate it. I think we need to ask ourselves, is this really what geographers look like? And is this really what geographers do? Do they go out there with their binoculars, looking to discover new things, and then sit down in some far-flung place and record what they have seen? I think it's probably still the popular image of geography, helped along by such things as Michael Palin's TV programmes, but is it accurate? So I guess one of the main aims of the module has been to show that there is much more to academic geography in universities than this. If you are now able to look at that page and see that what it is showing is regional geography, and know that there is much more to university geography than this, then the module has achieved its aims. Because we wanted to support you in making the transition from school to university geography, and to show you that regional geography is not the only or the main form that the subject takes. That there are paradigms or ways of studying the subject used in university that are not commonly used in either popular representations of the subject or in school geography. In so doing, the course moved along a scale from being very theoretical to being increasingly practical, showing you in the last few weeks how the different paradigms influence the ways in which topics are studied at university. The second aim of the module was to do with skills and developing the type of skills you will need in second year and third year. So we've tested your ability to work individually, to work as a group, to present orally, to present written work, and in the last assessment to think creatively about the type of geography that you would like to study and to encourage you to read both more widely and more deeply about it. We'll mark the third assessment by about the end of May, and we'll let you know when the marks are ready for collection from the GPS office along with the feedback. As with the other assessments, I will also let you know some times when you can drop in to see me for a chat about the feedback for that or any of the assessments. That's important because the other thing that we've tried to do is to promote the idea of providing as many different types of feedback as possible. Written feedback, group feedback through a seminar, and individual feedback from me. The idea is that we are trying to maximise the opportunities for learning this year so that we set you up as well as possible with the skills for next, for whichever modules that you have decided to take. So, in addition to the skills that you've learned through the seminars and the assessments, let's finish by thinking briefly about how the contents of the module will help you in stages 2 and 3. What I can definitely see is that it's given you a grounding from which to understand some of the theoretical ideas which are introduced next year. So, for example, if you're talking about Marxism, hopefully you will identify this as a radical approach or paradigm, and as a result be better able to understand quickly what it is trying to achieve. Similarly, if you are doing something on discourses, then you might appreciate more quickly that it is coming from a postmodern perspective and what it is trying to achieve. So in that respect, a gentle introduction to what is coming in the next couple of years. Of course, having identified what the theoretical perspective is trying to achieve, then you are in a better position to comment on its strengths, its weaknesses, and its limitations. So, for example, Marxism might only consider one perspective. Discourses, whilst considering lots of perspectives, often don't reach a definite right answer or produce any tangible benefits for improving the world. The other thing that the module has tried to prepare you for is to begin to think about what type of geographer you are going to be. Thinking specifically about the dissertation that you need to write in third year, you need to decide what perspective you are going to answer the question from. As we've seen, there are lots of different ways to answer the same question. So a quantitative approach might be very different from a radical approach. And while there's lots of help with this, the quicker you can decide what you are trying to achieve, the better in terms of shaping the dissertation research proposal next year. Lastly, I hope that we've helped to make your module choices better by allowing you to experience what some of the lectures will be like next year on some of the modules, what topics they might address and how they might address them. Some of you will have heard of some of the topics before. Perhaps things like ethnic development and gender geographies you may not have heard of. But hopefully in any case we've prevented the inevitable question that arises at some point in stages 2 and stages 3 of how is this geography. And to finish in doing all of this, I hope that we've kind of re-energised your enthusiasm for geography and proved what we said in the first lecture, that geography is indeed fun.